Okay, so I'm going to be talking about the Algebra 2 Semester 1 Unit 4 tutorial about plotting complex numbers. So complex numbers, it's just a number, it's a number that has a real number in it, something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and an imaginary number in it. So 1i, 2i, 3i. So pretty much we're going to be plotting these numbers just like we normally would as if they were x and y. Look at this real quick. So if we have an imaginary number like they give us here, negative 3i plus 2, first of all, we always want the real number in front, so we're going to rearrange it, so make sure you're keeping your signs with the correct expression. And so positive 2 is going to come to the front, so we get 2 minus 3i. Now this 2 minus 3i is really just an x, y point. So in this case, x is 2, y is negative 3i. And so the real numbers are always on the x-axis and the imaginary numbers are always on the y-axis. And so you can kind of just disregard this i because we're going to plot the point to negative 3. 2 is right here, negative 3 is right here. So our point 2, negative 3i, or 2 minus 3i would be here. So same for this one here. The 1 is the x, the 2i is the y, so we get 1 on the x, 2 on the y. And we can do this with anything. So say we had negative 4 plus 6i. That would be x, that would be y. We would have negative 4 on the x right here. 6i would be here on the y-axis. Okay, so that's how we plot. So let's go over to the activity. And real quick, you can keep going back to this screen because this will help you with the negatives and positives, right? So on this side of your graph, all the x's are positive. So the right side. This side of the graph, the left side, all the x's are negative. The top part of the graph, all your y's are positive. The bottom part of your graph, all your y's are negative. So as you do your activity, you can go back to that. But I'm going to give you some examples for this one. It says, write a complex number that lies above the real axis and to the right of the imaginary axis. So if we were to draw this, draw ourselves a little graph. Okay, so here's the real numbers. So the real numbers here are positive, so positive, real, so our imaginary goes here. So this is negative real over here, this is negative real here. Imaginary, they're positive up on the top. So imaginary positive on the top and negative on the bottom. So you can make that for you if you want. So a complex number that lies above the real axis, so everything above the real axis to the right of the imaginary axis. So that is right here. So we need a positive real and a positive imaginary. So if we were to write a number, that could be anything. Positive 10 plus 16i. It could be whatever you want. Now it says, write a complex number that lies below the real axis. So below here, so all of the imaginary numbers are negative. And to the left of the imaginary axis, so now we're right here, to the bottom and to the left, so we have negative real, negative imaginary. Negative 5 minus 11i, something like that. So then you're going to do that for all of these. These are all going to be the same kind of questions. Then you plot them on here, just like we did a second ago. Now it says list 5 complex numbers that fall inside the shaded region on this graph but do not lie on the curves. So that can be anything. That could be this point right here. That's 2 on the x, 1 on the y. So this is the real number, so it would be 2 plus 1i. Okay. And let's see, the graph shows 2 line segments whose endpoints are pairs of real numbers. What are these 2 pairs? What complex number is common to both lines? So what complex number is common to both? That would be where they intersect. And then this number right here, if we were to choose this endpoint, 5 on the real axis, so that would just be 5 plus 6i. Okay. And that is it for that activity. So here, so which graph shows the complex number I minus 1? So once again, we need to rearrange this so that the real number is first, so the negative stays with the 1, so negative 1 plus I. So this would be our x, this would be our y. So if we were to look at this graph, let's see if this is right. We would have negative 1 positive I. That doesn't work. Here, negative 1 positive I is right there. So it would be graph B. Okay, and here's your summary, but that should be it. Good to go.